Hello and welcome to today's show, Receiver Subassembly. The purpose of this video isn't to instruct, but for entertainment purposes only. There is no warranty, either written or implied, and none shall be inferred. Now we got that out of the way. What we're going to do here is I'm going to put together the receivers, bottom and the top, and we're going to stop as much as we can to keep it from dragging on into perpetuity. So we'll do some video edits as we go, but I'll try not to go overly rushed so that we just see how it turns out. I think we'll do this just one camera, probably all we need upstairs. We'll do it on a tripod and we'll see how it goes. Now as we begin, I prefer to kind of lay stuff out or take them out of the bags, especially since I've had these ones Cerakoted, and so the pieces, parts came from some upper, some lower, that kind of stuff. But I have a lower receiver. I've already started putting the trigger guard in. But by laying these out, I make sure I haven't lost anything before I start. This is the bolt catch. There's a pin, a little plunger head or a detent, a spring. Takedown pins, 2 of them. The long one goes in front. The springs should be the same, and they have 2 little detent pins, little steel detent pins. Maybe they might be brass or brass colored. I have a fire control lever or safety lever, whatever you want to call it. It has a spring, but it's a little bit bigger, and it has the nice little, only one of in the bag, a little plunger head, detent, whatever you might call it, handle screw, pistol grip screw, the retainer for the buffer tube. I have a buffer tube, buffer spring, buffer, 2 end plates that are a little bit different, hook over trigger, and its trigger pins. The spring came pre-installed. I don't guess we need to do that. And of course the buttstock. So that's really, I think, unless I'm overlooking something, all of the parts we need to put the lower receiver together. So let's start. Now about the only part that makes me nervous is driving this one particular roll pin in, because there's history of people breaking these things off. Now I've already got it started. In the front here, in this position, there's a little Allen head set screw that I screwed in there. I've Loctited that down. I've got this one started, and I have a block that's made, that I have cut made. It's just red oak that I used to bang on. And then what I'm going to do is get this started and just tap it down, finish it up with the brass punch. And if you hear me cuss, this will be it if I happen to break the receiver ear off, because this is the most important part. This is the firearm at this stage. Okay, I've got that in. I didn't break it, which is always a good sign. We'll take a little smaller one at this stage. Now they got it inside the holder flat, and try to get it just a scotch lower. Now, I'm done with the block for a little bit. The next part, putting the trigger in, just drops in. Now some, depending on the design, may make you have to put the fire control handle or safety lever, whatever you want to call it. But these just go in like this, and it's just a matter of lining it up, which is hard to do on camera. There we go. Pushing that piece in. And before we go any further, I'll go ahead and put that in like that, because the next one I put in is a little bit more springy. It's a little harder to do because that's the hammer spring. We got to lay it in there like that. Okay. That took a little bit of fiddling, so I may do a little cut there to save some time. But now to keep this from falling out, keep that, I think I'll go ahead and put a little detent and, of course, the pistol grip. I don't know that it makes a whole lot of difference what order you put them. Put that in. And this little jewel, this little spring goes into the grip. And I'm trying to make sure it goes into that hole. See that? Pushing that down. Okay. And it clicks. So we're in good shape there. I'm going to say push that to the side. All right, what do you say we put the magazine catch, which is this three little parts, and we put a catch on this side. Take the spring, go on this side, and we just have to get it started. And the hard part is getting it adjusted. I got a little nut here. Let me pull this on this side. I have a little nut. I just use it to go in that deep, and then I can go let me see how that looks. Like that. Just a little nut. And you just use it to go in the hole, to push that down a little further so it goes like that. No big deal. See what else I want to put on next. Alright. Okay, I think I about got everything positioned. I have used a starter punch to get this going, and I ran it in until it's just right at that edge. Because the only hard part about this, maybe you got some people build these all the time, but harder part about this is getting this hole right here to line up with that pin. Put a little bit of grease on it. Find the hole. Kind of hold it in there a little bit. Put this on for extension, and then using this, feels like it caught. Now I should be able to just finish it up. Kind of like this. Okay, take one of the two springs, put it there. I'm just going to kind of position that around a little bit, and I put a little grease on this little bugger. Now the front one is the fat one. And it goes on the side that the detent is, this little dude, because it got a little hole. The only thing I watch out for really here is this little dude, here he is, getting froggy and jumping out of the hole. Like that. Okay, now I've repositioned the camera so that I get more up toward the top. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little grease, put on my rear pin. See, it has a little gap right there. The gap goes toward this little hole. We'll put that in all the way in. I've already got my little detent. I'm going to drop it in the hole. Now, my buffer tube, I have two of these plates. The easiest one right here is the thin one. This one's got a little quick connect. And it's a bit of a booger to use, but I'm going to put it on. And I'm going to get, now I'm going to take the catch. This is going to be hard to do because I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to put it in the hole. And I'm going to hold this up until it catches that little buffer holder, buffer stop. And without springing that piece out, put my little baby spring in there. Okay. Okay, come on, cooperate with me, baby. Okay. Let me check. Now, do you see? There we go. I got to rotate. See how that little lip right here catches the retainer, and I got the pin in there, and you feel, come on, hear it click. Get close to the microphone. There we go. So that's in there. Now I need to tighten this down. The gas on that. It needs next the buffer spring, put a little grease on our hands, like that. Kind of grease up that spring just a little bit. Usually one side is tighter than the other. It's about the same, that's maybe a little bit tighter. And we put it in there, give it a twist until it catches. And see, it's got a little flat spot right there. We want to turn it past the flat spot. so that when it runs, it doesn't try to pop out. Is there anything else? Oh no, looks like I think we about got it, have we not? Got a good strong detent there. It holds the mag, drops the holds the mag, drops the mag. And the bolt catch. It won't fire on safe. There we go. So that's it. Oh, forgot one last thing. Buttstock. And it goes on. Turn that up. Lift her up. There we go. One. Let me roll that back out. There we go. One complete lower. That's it. Well, I like to put this in a vise and in the clamshell, and then get the roll pin started. Put it in the starter punch, and what I do is I get it about halfway down. Now, here is the forward assist. It's going to have a little groove right here, and this groove is where the roll pin sits into. And then it's got the little claw at the end, and that's the part has to be flexible because that's what goes up against the bolt carrier group. All right, put spring in. Let's line it up. I need to look down on it a little bit so we can see where the flat spot is, where the roll pin will come through, and push it all the way in. And then let it back just a little bit. Now drive it in. After you get it mostly through, come back with your brass punch, finish up. Now, to get the dust cover on, take the rod, the hinge pin with the C-clip on the end. Take the dust cover with a little knot on the outside so that it's on the inside when it's close, outside when it's not. Get it started. Take your spring long side. The long side of the wire should be flat against the door, and then kind of get it pushed in the pin. Push the pin a little bit down into the spring, and then when you get that set, it won't have any pressure on it. So we got to take our knife and work up on it and lift it up just enough to pull that little short stubby piece of spring wire back through on the gate side. Push it down, hold it down kind of tight, and push the pin through like that. Test it. Springs out, see it flops back. That's it. Well, why did I stop here? Quite honestly, because there is a legal concept called constructive possession. And you cannot build an NFA device without having your stamp back. Mine is in the works, and I don't want to be guilty of a potential charge of constructive possession. But that's a video for a different time. Thanks for watching. Come on back.